today's topic is adding AI to your HRTech solutions. Would you build or buy or partner? What's the best choice? When to do it? How to do it? So we're going to kind of address a lot of things in this sort of area. Not that we're going to cover everything that's out there for questions. So I'm going to quickly move to introduction, introducing our fabulous panel here. I'm Seema Chaudhary. I'm going to be hosting this presentation and discussion, you can say. I'm head of our partnerships. I've been with Harbinger over 22 years and played many different roles in product, launching products in the market, sales, and leading engineering teams, but on the business side, and then building our channel partner network. I'm based out of our Redmond office. Today, I'm fortunate that I'm in our India office. I'm presenting from there. Next one here is Umesh Kanade. Umesh is also joined, obviously. Umesh is our Vice President of Capability Development. Umesh has also been with the company almost 24 years. His sort of, he leads actually our strategic initiatives in the company, building competitive advantages through Center of Excellence. So he has a team that he builds under Center of Excellence and positioning us with the help of our marketing, consulting, and in hyper-automation through AI. So he's always on top of technology, helping us understand industry. So today he'll shed some light, he'll kind of have some, bring to us some different aspects of how we do it in Harbinger, as well as what's happening in the industry. So Prashant is also there. Prashant is sorry, what did you say something?
I just wanted to say hi, everyone.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Umesh. Prashant is also our senior leader. Prashant is has a PhD and he's a Clemson graduate. He has a PhD in computer science and has led previously our delivery teams. So he's one of those persons who understands the pain points of and the underlying sort of pain points in any complex or dynamic problems and can solve these problems very easily along with our team. Though he heads our business development today, he heads our HRTech technology business. And he can get into technology very easily and lead our teams in understanding the problems and giving the best outcome for our customers. He's based out of Philadelphia. And Prashant, welcome today.
Thank you. Great to be here.
And we have Assaf Bar-Moshe is also he also is a PhD linguist with a decade of experience in NLP and AI. Assaf worked as a linguistic engineer in startup companies in Israel, Germany, and Canada, and developed innovative text and speech analysis applications. Currently serving as the head of R&D at HiringBranch. Assaf leads a dynamic team responsible for AI engine, driving HiringBranch's language and communication assessment. His work is shaping the future of candidate evaluation in HR. Welcome, Assaf. And after I kind of give an intro to Harbinger Group, what we do, Assaf will also explain what HiringBranch is all about and what do they do. So thank you, panelists, and everybody else is also welcome to add questions. You're free to even speak up. We're okay with that. So I'll move to the next slide and give you a little snapshot of Harbinger. Harbinger is, first of all, proud to sponsor HRTech advisors for a long time. They're doing a fabulous job. Harbinger, at Harbinger, we do develop software products as well as services. So we work with the ISVs, we work with software companies, but we also help enterprises understand what softwares they have in HR and learning, and are they able to integrate it? Are they able to use the data that they have? So there is a lot of services aspect that we do around enterprises also. We are in our 33rd successful year, and I've seen this company for the last 33 years. We're about 850 people in the US and headquartered in India. Our US office is in Redmond. And the industries that we work is in, HR, e-learning. So they're very kind of right next to each other. HR technology, e-learning, which is close to also performance and training, digital technologies, education, and high tech. So we love to work in many areas, but HR is sort of at our heart today. So Assaf, if you would like to tell us about HiringBranch and tell everybody, it will be great.
Sure. Thank you, Seema. Can you hear me well? Yeah?
Yes.
Great. So yeah, at HiringBranch, we are focusing on language and communication assessments for high volume hiring, mainly for front-end positions like customer service, sales representatives, etc. Our language and communication assessments are unique, I would say, in that they don't only assess the language capabilities of the candidates, but also their communication skills, their employability chances, and what we call soft skills, which are extremely important in the field of customer service and sales. So things like acknowledging the customer, using positive language, showing empathy towards the customer. So these are the things that we are doing, and we deploy AI in order to evaluate all these different features. One other thing that I would like to say about our assessments is that they are open-ended, unlike other types of assessment that deploy multiple choice questions. We actually imitate a customer service environment, and the candidate that takes the assessment needs to react to actual customers' requests or questions in their own words, in speaking or writing, and we are evaluating whatever they say. Yeah, so this is also quite unique in the market. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Thanks, Assaf. I think I'm just going to head into what we're going to talk about today and how to sort of, move into the discussion. So our focus today is understanding a little bit in AI, where are you with your AI? This is for ISVs and enterprises also. This question is for ISVs and enterprises. Where are you with your AI? And then discuss how and if timing is important, when to include AI capabilities in your software. It's always a question. So maybe from our experiences, we can share something. It's not like a 100% given answer to everything, but I think we can share our experiences. And then briefly, we'll also sort of in between, we'll see what Harbinger has done in AI and how we have been able to help our clients and customers in bringing AI into their software. So moving forward, what I'll do is we have a quick poll that Ward will I think launch, just to understand where is everybody. If everybody can respond, that's great. We can sort of focus based on the poll outcome.
All right, you should see it, and I see some votes coming in. We're close to done. Let me go ahead and end it, and let's see here. Share the results.
Okay.
Which of course.
So I think as we see, who is hiring is one of the focus area where maybe there is some AI activity that needs to happen. Onboarding is almost equal. Employee engagement, employee development, HR and services is a little bit on the lower side. I don't know why, but that's good. So I think if we are, let's pick some of these areas and dive deep down into this conversation a little bit. Just gives us a little bit of idea. What I'm going to do is bring Umesh here. Umesh, you saw the poll results. Yeah. I think definitely hiring and onboarding is where the maybe a little bit of like a market lean, looks like it's a lean on that side. So I'll hand it over to you and explain us what are the AI automation opportunities for HR in this area. And again, people feel free to type in your questions. Umesh, over to you.
Thanks, Seema. Yeah, absolutely. The poll sort of speaks a lot about in terms of there is definite AI opportunity in each of these areas. And when we talk about AI, I mean, traditionally there has been the numeric database as well as visual image based, and the language AI has been there. But the recent evolution of the language AI, how the large language models evolved in terms of better accuracy of how the whole information is being processed and generated to solve some of these automation problems in the overall workflows, and specifically in the HR space. All these use cases quadrupled in last few period, where each of these opportunities like emerged out more different way, in different perspective of how better we can find opportunities of automation, leveraging the existing sort of information content, which is in the more of an unstructured form, be it documents, the voice, or the images and videos, and in all these forms as well. So coming specifically to these HR workflows, right from the hiring, where you start with a job sort of requisition, where you need to have a job description ready, and you have a dependency on experts to get that prepared, aligned to what the industry requirements are, aligned to what your organization's culture and other description that you need to incorporate. The whole automation enables you to quickly generate it just with few inputs, get your JR ready, get your job posting quickly ready for starting your hiring process immediately, right? So that's where it starts from. And then the biggest hurdle or the most effort intensive task is going through the large number of resumes. Going through that information is quite time consuming. And of course, the automation has been there, which we're just shortlisting or searching over the keywords and extracting some of the keywords based information. But now the language AI has evolved enough to really do a whole skill based extraction of information beyond just the demographic part, and even mapping your experience levels aligned to the job descriptions. And biggest aspect is getting that whole recommendation between the whole ranking and matching on that whole volume of resumes for that specific job description, in terms of what's missing, what's matching, even taking it ahead to in terms of your communication to these candidates in an automated fashion, like you have been shortlisted, or you have been probably rejected, or you want to convey some of these messages as well. So taking that whole automation to the next level, even the shortlisting aspects now, the whole pre-screening of these candidates with questions, pre-screening questions, or summarizing your interview so that the next rounds can be fast track. So overall, definitely you do not want to rely on the decision about the candidate, but it will be much more informed and much more fast track process of reaching to your final candidate for that position. So essentially, now AI has has good potential now to automate the hiring truly end to end with the whole new language AI. Right. Coming to the next part, which is where the employee onboarding aspect is there, or making sure that they have self-service for all the informations about the organization, maybe even the standard operating procedures, maybe the product knowledge, maybe the compliance information, all requires your existing knowledge to be quickly discoverable, should be available in the flow of work. It needs to be available, maybe like a quick summaries, quick FAQs on that top of that knowledge. All is now much more easily can be automated by not just the bot aspect, but the whole reconstruction of that information, which can be tuned to who is asking it for what purpose, and repurpose that content accordingly in that form, and get whole personalized experience of getting employee queries self-serve, getting their information like more of the tip of the fingers. Like it's the same experience that we are now seeing it from transition from Google search to a chat GPT way, right? Where you don't have to go through the whole long list of search results and documents and figure out your information, but you get direct that information in your as a response to your queries, right? So that's essentially where the automation is playing a big role now in terms of knowledge acceleration aspect. Definitely the next aspect is the employee engagement, where right from checking the employee pulse, the sentiments in a more descriptive fashion, right? It's not just a few survey forms to take, but it's like employee want to speak up, they want to tell stories, and then you try to figure out their whole sentiment about it. Even the manager direct conversations can be much more evaluated better way, like how better the feedbacks, how positive adjusting directions being given, just to understand how the employees are performing. I mean, just gauging the potential of that performance of the employee, or they are sort of likely to leave the organization. Those sort of predictions can be much more possible to predict now. And finally, the overall development of the workforce in order to make sure that the whole, the business goals of the organizations are made. You have right talent matured to a specific skill set at top level, having ensured that you can quickly measure that whole skill gap, find what's the right recommended learning to make, bridge that gap. And for that purpose, generating the automated assessments, not just the questions, but more of a quizzes that can help you evaluate with the descriptive answers, which can be, quickly compared with, what's missing, what's matching, how much of insightful answers were there, how well it was articulated, right? All those aspects, like I think Assaf will talk much more on the soft skills part of the assessment as well. But overall, even the technical skill aspects as well can be much more easily evaluated with the whole, how the whole language AI has evolved now. So these are very broad sort of opportunities that I'm talking here, but every sort of workflow which has that whole unstructured volume of data or content, there is an opportunity to leverage the language AI and the latest evolution of the language AI much more efficiently, right? So I think that's essentially I wanted to bring it up as a possible opportunities.
Thank you. Excellent. I think this is almost like setting a foundation for our discussion that's going to come up, because we're not necessarily teaching technology here, what is AI, but the opportunities, the business side of it, and many more things. So let me move. Umesh, first of all, thank you. I think I also understood a lot more about the unstructured, information that has more sort of use now with the Gen AI or the new kind of AI automation. That's great. Great to know. So let me see what we have in the next. I think what I'm going to do is bring on Prashant and Assaf to discuss a few things from your own experiences. I'm pretty sure you both have different views on this. So while companies are building, and Assaf, you're already building it, and Prashant has not just seen what we build inside Harbinger, but he also has seen, while talking to clients or potential opportunities or clients, that what are they thinking? When is the right time to add AI in your roadmap, in your software roadmap? Prashant, over to you if you would like to take this on first.
Sure, thanks. So I would say that right now is a good time to add artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence has been around for a while now. So we are talking about at least a couple of decades in kind of like the commercial space. Right now, yes, I understand that there is a lot of hype and buzz about generative AI and large language models and all of that. But people like Assaf have been working on this for a number of years. Even in Harbinger, for example, we have a tool which creates answers and questions from learning material. and we have had that product out there for like 4 years. And again, it is built on language models and so on. So I would say that the time is ripe to add artificial intelligence, but don't come at it from like a sense of panic or urgency. One kind of like statistics that is out there, maybe that is useful to the audience. There is a site called futurepedia.io, I believe, or futurepedia.ai, it could be. And that lists about 5,000 products which are using artificial intelligence. So, so definitely there are a lot of products. Within the HR space, they list about 160 products. So, again, these might be like small ones or big ones or whatever. There can be a variation. But the point is that there is that volume. Now, of course, you shouldn't rush into it just because, everybody else is doing it or whatever. But rather the things to consider is, what problem would you like to solve? Okay, and maybe start off with some small problem rather than like a big problem. Like Umesh pointed out, if you have unstructured data, that could be, that could be used, or it could even be some structured data that you have, and you can get further insights. Your customers and your users would be able to get further insights from the data that you already have. And another thing to consider is is your team ready? So, if your team needs to kind of like be ramped up in that manner, you might want to again start off a little bit slowly. And a third thing, what I would say is that it need not be only customer facing, So yes, I mean, a customer facing feature would be great to have. But if not, and you still want to use some artificial intelligence for your own purposes to try to determine, what is the product saying, how is the product being used, who is the product, useful for and not so useful for, and so on, you can use artificial intelligence for that.
Thank you. Thanks, Prashant. Assaf, do you want to add your thoughts, Ray?
Yeah, so I think the answer to the question, when is the right time to add AI, really depends on the company, on the specific company, where it's at, and many other factors. So I think, first of all, before rushing into AI, a company needs to define very well what, as Prashant mentioned, what's the problem that they want to solve, actually, using AI. And is AI the right tool to solve the problem? So AI is, deploying AI is a very, very resource heavy process that needs to be taken into consideration very well before starting with it. So if AI is actually not the right solution for your company and for the problem that you want to solve, maybe don't go that way. In many cases, it is actually a good solution, but I would say the first step would be to define really well what the problem that you want to solve is, and if AI is really a good way about it. Then the next step would be figuring out if you have enough data. So AI requires a lot of data in order to be trained on. So data is actually a requirement, and without it, basically you won't get anywhere. So you need to start thinking about AI basically when you have the right data. If I take it to HiringBranch and our specific solution, so for example, despite the buzz around AI, it really took us several years to apply AI to our products because we really needed to define the problem very well. So as I mentioned earlier, we are basically, we solve many different problems in the field of language assessments. But if I focus on one of them, the soft skills, problem, first of all, we need to really understand what soft skills are. Yeah. So as I said earlier, we are talking about things like acknowledging the customer, or showing empathy towards the customer, or being able to handle objection, or to negotiate a price, or things like that. So first of all, we need to understand them, and we need to understand how they are realized in language. Yeah. And whether we can gather enough data around these different patterns or templates by which these different soft skills are realized. So if we cannot do that, and we don't have the resources to do that, maybe we should go some other way. Yeah. So actually, at the beginning, when we started to analyze the problem, we used a rule-based approach, yeah, rather than AI or machine learning approach. Slowly, when we felt that we understand the problem much better and we have enough data, this is when we started thinking about deploying machine learning, yeah, and more advanced AI models. So yeah, I would say that first of all, get to know the problem, have a good feeling that AI is a good solution for you before you go down this road. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think you hit the right point there. It's good to understand, just like we say, your own business first before you understand your customer's business. So I think that's great to know. So moving on to our sort of next point is the next question that I'm going to pose is, we understand now you have to know what the timing is. So when you say that you need a lot of resources, you need a lot of data, you need, different things to bring in AI as a feature or as a module in your software. When a software company or even an enterprise should build, buy, or partner when adding AI, what are some of the options, or what are some of our clients or prospects opting in, and why? Just if you can share some examples, or shed some light on that. Prashant, you want to go?
You want me to go first? Okay.
Yes, if you can.
So yeah, of course, this is a very crucial decision for all of the participants here. Yeah, as Assaf has pointed out, and even Umesh pointed out, data can be complicated, and you need a sufficient amount of data and all that. So that is one aspect, and you should consider that in mind. But again, like the more core aspect is what problem you are trying to solve, and it's better to start off with the small problem. The one thing that has happened now is that the tools which are, for example, OpenAI's GPT and similar products, they can be fairly easily used to get started. So one example is a company called Arthur Learning. It's based in Canada, in the Toronto area. And essentially what they have done is that, they have courses, and the traditional way of courses and evaluation of courses and so on is to have a fairly multiple choice kind of questions. And now with artificial intelligence, they can have more subjective answers or long answers to the questions that their learners can attempt, and provide answers, and therefore develop their learning. So now this they built it fairly in-house. They don't have any data science people. They don't have any artificial intelligence people. They don't have any normal developers also. Okay, so they have like instructional designers, and they have people who can create good content and so on. But there's fairly small lift because they are targeting just a little bit of an extension to what they already had, and so that was something that they could very easily build, and they got it out also. So it's it's a it's a licensed thing and everything. So, it's not like, oh, maybe we are just doing a beta test and so on. So, they're going ahead with that product, and I believe so can you with some of these things. Then, of course, if there is some specific aspect, like for example, there is the ability to understand, say, employee sentiments, or there is an ability to kind of like, let us say, there is a module which is available to determine, what is the feedback to employees in terms of like either performance, or it could be flipped on its head and said like, how are the reporting managers providing feedback to their employees. So either way, like trying to determine whether an employee is doing good, or whether the supposed mentees are mentoring them properly. Now if there's a module like that available, then you should like probably buy it and see whether that can be utilized and it can be linked fairly easily with your product. And so, so that's an example where, you would make a buy decision. And then, of course, like if the data is quite complex, the work is like bigger, then partner with a company. So one of the examples is that a company got in touch with us to process their job descriptions, and they wanted specific occupational information from those job descriptions, because the job descriptions don't necessarily indicate the kind of like what you might say a formal taxonomy of the job description. So is this like a job description in health, or is it something more like retail, or is it more into academics? Sometimes job descriptions are not very clear, because they got to like deal with people on the street. So now it's a matter of like processing like millions and millions of records, and so they came to us and we helped them do that. So so depending on like these are some considerations for like whether you should build by a partner. And of course, like we are willing to and happy to guide you on that path. So you don't have to come to us only for a partnering decision. You can come to us for advice, and we are happy to share that.
Thank you. Good examples, Prashant. Now, Assaf, do you have specific choices, or have you felt in your product roadmap that here is a need that maybe we should partner, or we should go out and buy something, or use some open source available software, something like that?
Yeah, sure. So I would say again, it really depends on the situation of the specific company. There are advantages and disadvantages for each one of the models. So building AI in-house gives you more control over the process. You can customize it to your needs. Yeah. Also, another very important aspect here is privacy and security. Yeah, of your IP. When you do it in-house, it's much safer in this respect, and you can develop expertise in-house when you build your own AI, and of course, you can control the costs much better. Yeah. Or if you opt to buy AI, then you might save time. Yeah, because you'd probably go to an expert. Yeah, in building AI that can save time for you, but it probably would be more expensive and less flexible, and you will not really have control over the process. And partnering is, of course, also an option, in which case you share the risk with some other company, with your partner. You split the costs. You get the benefit of their expertise. So it's another option. Specifically for HiringBranch, I would say the choice was quite clear to build the AI in-house. And this is mainly because of privacy and security issues at the beginning, but also because our problem is extremely specific. Yeah. So again, if we focus on the soft skills problem, I personally don't know any other company that actually makes assessments around soft skills and is able to identify whether a candidate empathized with a customer or not. Yeah, just based on their voice and what they said. So since this problem is really, really specific and required a lot of research, both on the linguistic side and the AI side, we did that in-house. However, I do agree with Prashant about, cutting corners, let's call it, where the AI is already available out there. Yeah. So if there is AI already out there for some aspects of your product, then just use it. Yeah. Instead of building a team that is going to build something that is already out there. So for example, if we need to deploy a part of speech tagger in our assessment or automatic speech recognition, ASRs, yeah, there is no reason to develop them in-house. You can just go Google, Amazon, OpenAI, Whisper, whatever, yeah, and get them. They are on the shelf, yeah. So this will definitely save a lot of time and effort. Yeah, entire companies were built around ASRs, and so why build your own ASR? You're not going to compete with Google. Just buy it. Yeah. So when you can buy something to save time and effort, just do that.
Fantastic. I see the reasons why somebody should build and when and which area. How about moving a little bit ahead and let's get Umesh involved in answering some of our questions here. So Umesh, how about get us to know, like, how can artificial intelligence can be enabled rapidly? Because time is of essence. I feel that, what if somebody misses the bus? How do you do this? So give us examples from what we do at Harbinger, and I'll
absolutely.
I guess, yeah, we need the
sure, absolutely. So I mean, the whole I would say this language AI or generative AI space is evolving so fast while making the technology decisions, picking right sort of models, multiple sort of components which are part of this whole big puzzle, right? Those are continuously changing, and you need to be keep up a space with what's latest, what's better, what's more better in terms of accuracy, speed, and performance aspects. All that definitely is a challenge if you have to plan it ahead and then get your roadmap aligned to that. So that's where we have been sort of continuously keeping eye on what's better and appropriate for every use case, and coming up with the right set of component and accelerators that can solve some of these specific use cases as well. So iContent is more of a API framework, which is more of a easy to consume over services, primarily focused on automation of content of any types, like all the unstructured data processing aspects, leveraging the latest of the generative AI part. The whole framework-based approach sort of gets you the most flexible aspect of picking the right or picking the most suitable components that are required for your use case, which can be plugged into your existing workflows, your ecosystems of existing softwares, and gel in for entire end-to-end automation of the workflows. So that's essentially that whole framework enables you to automate or get application of that generative AI immediately. The crucial aspect here is the typical time and effort involved in terms of training a model, training the AI to get better over your sort of data and the workflows is often effort intensive. But now with this whole language models evolved with a prompt-based tuning, which also comes with a pre-trained models as well. The whole training cycles have reduced. It requires more minimal set of data. So the adoption of use case becomes much more faster because it starts giving you the results that you are expecting, and the whole sort of maybe the business stakeholders or the workforce who is going to consume it will find it much more useful now as well. And what Assaf talked about, the whole privacy and security of that whole information, that's where the privately hosted these large language models, which can fine-tune on your data, ensures that everything resides under your firewall. And you can still get accuracy closer to now what are the evolved ones like the GPTs or Anthropic or Bard kind of models as well. But those are very specifically fine-tuned for your use case. And that's where it gives that whole advantage in terms of building your own IP around that and make it part of your whole roadmap. So yeah, I mean, these whole framework gets you adapt to this the generative AI much more faster.
Excellent. So in our Harbinger AI content, what you have accomplished so far, or at least tried to accomplish, is the time frame, right? Blending it rapidly.
Absolutely.
At the same time, it's a framework, so it's customizable, right, for our clients. So it's like an API, right? API.
Exactly. Yeah, and of course, both the services and subscription sort of engagement models in terms of how a partnership can be, built upon, and it definitely gives you a cost advantage as well, along with saving of effort, because now you have cut down the whole cycle of your R&D effort or exploration aspects as well, right? You have much more concrete choices to make here.
And at the same time, the security or the risk that everybody sees in building AI, artificial intelligence models. Excellent. I think we have kind of briefly explained this, how Harbinger is doing it. I'm pretty sure there is a ton of effort that's being gone in here. More than efforts, I think what the industry is about, what has happened so far, it's not like this is a new innovation. This is a new way of bringing something out in the market. And that's exactly what Umesh is expert about in our company. So I just want to turn a little bit towards the market opportunities. Let's see, with all this, what are the market opportunities? Are there, what is happening in the market? Because eventually everybody has to make business out of it. How do we see that? And please feel free to jump in. There are people who are more experienced in this in our group here. So even though I'm asking only panels here, Marilyn Ward, please jump in to show what your experiences are in this area. Does adding AI generate new market opportunities? And this is where my interest is too. So Assaf, if you want to take this question first, let's see what you see in your business. What are some of the opportunities?
Yeah. So I think HiringBranch is a good example of how you can create new market opportunities using AI, because basically the assessment, language assessment arena is quite traditional, I would say. And many assessments deploy multiple choice questions because they are easier to score automatically. And not a lot of assessment deploy open-ended questions because they require manual evaluation, which takes a lot of time and effort and costs a lot. But when you automate the evaluation, you can basically do what we call a high volume hiring very, very quickly. You can even replace interviews which is something that some of our customers do. Yeah, they use HiringBranch to both as an assessment and as an interview, and then they eliminate interviews altogether. So basically, we created a new market in this respect, you can say. Also, another advantage here is that AI driven assessments are non-biased. Yeah. So whereas a human evaluator has their own opinions, ideas, when they hear somebody's voice or when they read somebody's essay, AI is basically indifferent to all these biases, which again opens a big opportunity. Last thing that I would say is that AI also generates a lot of data, and you can analyze this data very, very quickly. And this opens, again, new market opportunities. For example, in our case, apart from giving our customers assessments and results to hire quickly, we can also give them business insights. Yeah. So in which call center around the world, or in which country around the world, do candidates perform better? Yeah. Where to invest their efforts, and then they can make very good business decisions based on this data. Yeah, so this is just an example. So yeah, definitely there are a lot of opportunities using AI.
Excellent, excellent. I think this is great information for us. And Prashant, do you have, or Umesh, you can also jump in, but Prashant, do you see any market opportunities for us or for other businesses?
Yeah, of course.
Startups, for example.
Yeah, so Assaf very nicely pointed out, definitely the market opportunities open up using artificial intelligence. So one kind of like area could be supporting multiple languages. So if you're only like targeting the US market, or even within the US market, if you want to like, address Spanish language users or similar kind of users, then now you can like have that ability based on the translation ability of artificial intelligence, So that's just one example, kind of like maybe, kind of like a low to medium hanging fruit that can be there. The another example is like, for example, we had a customer, and they are in the time and attendance space. And so traditionally, you have like an ID card, you swipe it, and then you basically, you are signed in or signed out. But what if like somebody is carrying some load, or if there are like so many multiple entry points and exit points, and you still want to like kind of track where your employees are, So what we did is that basically facial recognition and gesture recognition. So with the camera, identify who the employee is, and based on the gesture they are making, whether they are signing in or signing out, so now this kind of like opens up in this particular case, this customer's market, where they can be in more, they can cater to more customers who are not in traditional offices or limited entry and exit points. So this is an example, where artificial intelligence can be used. So yeah, there are lots of possibilities.
Fantastic. Madeline, share your experiences. I know Walt said we have 5 more minutes, but there is no session after this, so we can take up altogether 10 minutes maybe. And this was our last question anyway, so let's just sort of ponder on this question and get some more information out of our audience.
Yeah, I mean, this gets into a little bit of some of the, we know Kevin and Stefan and Beth, Assaf, and so your colleagues and partners in crime, we've had an opportunity to get to know them over the last year, and so this idea of eliminate the interview, if you would, or basically a radical redesign of a business process. One of the things, and I was talking about this when I was in Ireland last week, was with a whole group of, I don't know, we had 75 people in talent acquisition. I'm like, you know what? I just see a fundamental openness to really getting rid of the past mental models associated with how we're doing business. I mean, we've seen these big companies like completely wipe out their whole talent acquisition teams. I mean, it's not that they're not hiring anymore, right? They're just saying, gosh, you know, maybe it's because they've got kids that are applying for jobs and getting completely abused by this whole stupid process that people are following, going like, let's just blank slate it, right? And we've seen that happen in big brands. And so we're seeing this fundamental questioning of organizational design and how things are done, even at scale in big companies. And I think it happened also coincident with generative being, oh, now that we've played with ChatGPT, it's so accessible and it's not as brittle. And now I get it. And I think what's happening right now is people are, there's a crack in the universe. This is what I'm seeing anyways. There's this crack in the universe where I think just the general population is like, we don't know what the new way is, but we got to play here. So my piece of advice really for from my talk last week was, we're all underestimating the impact that generative and AI probably have already had on our life and will continue. This is 1,000 times bigger than the internet, you know, which happened a lot slower. Remember when all that happened? You know, those of us on this call, we're all pre-internet, you know. And maybe not you, Assaf. You might be a digital native, but you know, we came from stone tablets here. But but there's this openness right now. So every single one of our clients are looking at probably a pivot in a business redesign. All the buyers right now are in full-on curious mode. So I think if we think about like the business opportunity for us and our clients and what it is that we're doing or what we want to do, I think it's a greenfield. That's what I'm seeing. You know, not to say that we're not going to have laggards and, you know, people that are going to be late on the technology adoption curve, but I think it moved the general population way forward from what you see in, you know, the technology adoption life cycle and how many people are in that. It's just full on. And so I'm reading some excerpts about what's coming out of the Workday Rising conference that's going on right now. And they're doing labs and workshops. Everybody is in student mode, including me, including all of us probably. So I don't know, it's a magical time to be in the industry. So that's what I'm seeing in my little journey. So, and they're looking at the use cases too. It's kind of funny because like Oracle just had their big conference and they have lots of press releases. And then I think there was a oh shit moment from SAP SuccessFactors. They got rid of a whole bunch of leaders. They canned a bunch of people in the last week. And now all of a sudden in the social media, I'm seeing all kinds of things. Everything is generative. So they went and put together some little videos. So they would at least be able to keep up with what Oracle's doing, because Yvette and Shannon and Chris Leone are killing it over there on the HCM side. So
definitely the me too type stuff going on for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's, I don't know. It's the opportunity is ours for the taking, I think, and to be part of shaping this new chapter. I mean, we are in it. So I don't know. I get up in the morning and I can't wait to see what is next. So. That's just me. Thank you guys for indulging.
Thank you. Thank you for your input. Yeah, thank you for sharing your experiences. What if you have maybe, we have a few more minutes. Definitely, if anybody wants to share any of your experiences. I see that this is not like, this topic can, you know, it can be a series of conversations. What's next, you know, there are going to be lots of risks and other things and opportunities, lots of startup ideas, because you can start small in this area, right? And
like
a lot of
massive
business opportunities.
Yeah, it's like this massive commingling, because it's like who's going to invent all of this stuff from scratch? So we're finding probably all of these bits and pieces in areas of unique capability, and those businesses that will succeed in their innovation and then continuing on, to evolve, will be the ones that can creatively assemble this to solve business problems. It'll be the sense makers, I think, as a skill set, right? So, and it would be insane to try to do it yourself. So I think this whole, doing everything kind of like in-house behind closed doors, I think it's going to add to the need for getting proper guidance and expertise and planning and road mapping and intel. It's just too big to know by yourself. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Industry collaboration, it's probably a good idea, right?
If only somebody would organize the community.
Yeah, you had Prashant showed that number, right? 130 companies that have something to do with AI, or right, the companies that are in HR. Maybe they're the people.
Right, let's get that list. Get them all into one
list. Let's get that list, and let's see what they're doing.
Well, and HiringBranch has been ahead of the curve as a few others,
yes.
But yeah, definitely a lot of Me Too going on out there, and it is exciting times. We're technically over time. I purposely put a
we can have a break
afterwards. That doesn't. George Clooney's not going to mind if we bump into his session. I don't think so.
Okay.
If you need a few more minutes.
Well, he doesn't have any choice, so.
There you go.
So this is my last slide, actually. Thank you. And you have my address, you have Prashant's address. Please connect with Prashant, whoever hasn't before, and Umesh also. Assaf, sorry, I don't have your email here, but I'm assuming through a recording and stuff, people will ping you to see your offering. It's very interesting, and the work that you're doing is absolutely, I think, it's not just interesting, it's just like what said, you're ahead of the curve here, which is amazing. And thank you panelists, thank you people who are attending, thank you Voice for everything.